It had been a little over 3 hours since Jungkook was introduced to the CEO, and the pressure in his chest still hadn't settled. He sat at his desk, staring at the finished reports like they were some kind of bomb. He needed to give them to you, but the thought of entering your cabin made his heart beat faster than it should. Your fiancé, that man, was still in the same room with you. Jungkook hated that it bothered him. He shouldn't feel anything for a stranger. He shouldn't think about that night. He shouldn't remember how broken and exhausted you looked yesterday. But now you were this cold, unreadable CEO, and you didn't look happy, not even a little. Despite having a ring on your finger, something inside him kept whispering that something was wrong. Jungkook rubbed his palms on his pants and muttered under his breath, "Jungkook, I should focus on my work." He finally pushed himself to stand and walk toward your cabin with slow, careful steps. His heart slammed painfully as he knocked. "Come in." That voice wasn't yours, it was male, deep, and Jungkook already knew who it belonged to. He pushed the door open with a soft click. The room hit him immediately, and the first thing he saw was your fiancé sitting comfortably on the couch, one leg over the other, tapping on his iPad. His presence alone filled half the room. The other half was filled by you, behind your desk, lost in a forest of files and your laptop, working like your life depended on it. You didn't even look up when he entered. Jungkook swallowed and walked closer. "Jungkook, Miss Yin." The reports. Your eyes lifted slowly, like you were forcing yourself to look away from your work. The shift was subtle but enough to make Jungkook's body stiffen. Your gaze didn't meet the papers, didn't even move to his hands. You went straight for his face, and you didn't blink or look away or pretend to be polite. You stared at him like you were searching for the version of him you had seen last night. He dropped his gaze instantly, his throat tightening. You were expressionless, but he could feel the sharpness of your attention. You stared so hard it was difficult for him to breathe, even if he didn't want to get flustered. He slipped right into that state. You remembered him, even if you pretended not to. You remembered everything. He tried to push the reports forward, his voice softer than before. "Jungkook, please look into it." But you didn't. Your eyes didn't leave his face, not for a second. Your fiancé was sitting only a few feet away, and here you were, staring at him so shamelessly. Your gaze kept dropping to his lips, and the realization made Jungkook's heart skip painfully. It was bold, too dangerous. And if he didn't look away, he was sure he would lose his balance. He took a small breath and stepped back. "Jungkook, I'll come later. I'll just leave it here." He turned to leave, relief already forming, until your voice halted him instantly. "Yin, did I say you could leave, Mr. Jungkook?" Jungkook froze. Your tone wasn't loud. It was powerful, rich and frighteningly seductive, like a slow whisper crawling across his spine. He straightened, fingers tightening in front of him, and forced himself to turn back toward you. It was like some cruel game, and he was losing badly. "Jungkook, and Ms. Yin, please." "The reports?" Jungkook whispered, almost begging for you to look away. His knees felt weak, and he knew one more second of your stare would melt the little composure he had left. The corner of your lip lifted, barely a smile, more like a slip in control, a quiet amusement escaping without your permission as you looked at Jungkook's shy, flustered, red, and almost frightened face. That soft chuckle that followed was small, barely a breath, but it changed the whole atmosphere in the room. Nick's head snapped up immediately. His eyes cut toward Jungkook with a sharp, accusing glare. Nick had never seen you laugh or even smile like that. Not once, not in months. And the fact that it wasn't because of him but because of another man made something ugly twist inside his chest. His ego burned. "Nick, you can leave." There was no politeness in it, just jealousy, bare, bitter, and impossible to hide. Jungkook bowed quickly, almost stumbling in his hurry to step back. The heat from your gaze followed him all the way to the door, burning the back of his neck. Just before he stepped out, he heard your fiancé's low whisper, "Nick, what was funny, huh?" Your reply was sharp, immediate. "Yin, none of your business." Nick gave a short, fake laugh. "You didn't." Jungkook paused for one last second, because in that moment, he didn't need anyone to explain anything. You weren't happy in this engagement, not even a little. It was almost evening, and Jungkook stood alone in the small coffee booth hidden deep inside the lower floors of the company. Out of all the crowded places, he preferred this one. Hardly anyone ever came here. It was too far down, too out of the way, and that's exactly why he liked it. It was quiet, empty, and peaceful here. And right now, he needed peace more than anything. He knew his stay in this company would be difficult, and the reason was simple. You. He let out a tired sigh and reached for the machine to turn it off, sliding his cup aside. But just as his fingers slipped onto the metal handle, his whole body jolted when a hand, warm, soft, unmistakably feminine, wrapped around his fingers. Yin, can I have this one? Your voice brushed his ear. Close, too close. The kind of closeness that made every tiny hair on his neck rise. Jungkook's eyes snapped open wider than he intended, looking down at your fingers gently covering his, both holding onto the same cup. For a moment his mind emptied. How did you even know he was here? How did you appear without a single sound? How long had you been watching him? He immediately pulled his hand back, stepping away like he touched fire. Jungkook, why yes, you can have it. I. Your gaze didn't move away from him. Yin, you look nervous, you said quietly. Why? Jungkook, I'm not, he lied immediately, forcing a weak smile. I just didn't hear you come. He stepped aside to grab another cup, his fingers fumbling awkwardly. You leaned your hip gently against the counter, watching him switch cups with trembling fingers. Your eyes ran over him, slow, tracing every movement he made. You weren't even pretending not to stare. Yin, because you were deep in your thoughts, you murmured, completely zoning out. Jungkook, oh, yeah, sorry. He rubbed his forehead, closing his eyes for a second, trying to regain composure, but it was useless. Everything about you made him forget how to stand, how to breathe, how to act like nothing happened yesterday. You shifted, and then you said the sentence he feared the most. Yin, look at me. Jungkook froze, eyes flicking up fast. Jungkook, huh? You took one small step toward him, but halted when he instantly moved back, again like a nervous animal. Your brows pulled together softly. Yin, are you mad at me? Jungkook blinked, completely thrown off. Jungkook, mad? Why would I be mad at you? I am nobody to be mad at you. Why would you think that? Your eyes softened, a softness nobody at the company had ever seen from you. For the first time, you didn't look cold or distant. You didn't look like the icy CEO you pretended to be in front of others. You looked real and tired. Yin, I ignored you today, you said, voice lowering. Like I don't know you. I treated you like a stranger. You watched his expression carefully, as if afraid he might misunderstand. I should say thank you, you whispered. You helped me yesterday. If it wasn't for you, you couldn't finish the sentence. The truth was sitting between you both like a weight. You had your reasons, you had your restrictions. Yin, Nick doesn't like when I talk to men, you admitted quietly, except for work. Jungkook swallowed hard. There it was, the confirmation he didn't want to hear but had already guessed. That man was the problem, from the beginning. Jungkook, don't thank me, Yin, he said gently. I did what any decent person would do. He swallowed hard, staring at the floor for a second before lifting his eyes to yours again. He shouldn't say this, it wasn't his place, but he couldn't stop himself. I want you to think before you marry. You went completely still, he continued anyway. Because someone had to say it. You don't look happy, he whispered, and it's obvious. A sad, humorless chuckle slipped out of your mouth. The sound was so broken, so defeated, it made Jungkook's chest tighten painfully. Yin, that's because I'm not happy, you said, and for the first time since he met you, you looked like a woman who wasn't living her life, but surviving it. Jungkook took a slow breath as he stepped closer to you, each movement careful, like he was afraid of scaring you. His hand twitched once. He wanted to touch you, to cup your shoulders or pull you into him like last night, but he forced his fingers to curl into a fist at his side. The urge was strong, almost painful, but he swallowed it down and spoke softly instead. Jungkook, then don't. Yin, don't put yourself in a situation you'll regret for the rest of your life. You looked away, your throat tight. Yin, I don't have any option. My father fixed this marriage and I can't go against him. The mention of your father made something click in Jungkook's mind. Clark's words echoed instantly. Strict, controlling, the kind of man no one says no to. Jungkook opened his mouth to ask more, to fight the topic for you, but you cut him off quickly. You didn't want to go near something that already felt like chains around your neck. Instead, you tried to smile, even though your voice trembled. Your fingers moved up on their own, brushing the folded sleeve on his forearm. You touched him carefully, almost shyly, twisting the fabric, as if touching him gave your mind something to grab onto. Your hands were small against his arm, and he could feel the warmth of your palm even through the shirt. You wanted your mind away from your reality, away from the engagement, and the only distraction that worked was him, touching him, holding onto him in any small way you could. You remembered the way he felt against you last night, and now that memory had become addictive, obsessive. You couldn't hug him here, not in this office, but nothing stopped you from holding his sleeve like this. Jungkook could feel it. You were avoiding the pain by focusing on him, and he let you. He let you hold him because, right now, you needed something gentle to attach yourself to. You took a breath, eyes lifting to meet his. Yin, thank you for yesterday, for making me believe I'm not weak. Your voice softened further, almost melting, for holding me, for stopping me, and for taking me to your home. I'll always be grateful. You stepped even closer, so close that if you leaned in, even an inch, your chest would touch his. It was almost inappropriate considering your position as CEO, but he didn't step back. He couldn't, not when you were looking at him like that. You hesitated, chewing your bottom lip. Yin, and also, your eyes flickered downward for a moment, stopping exactly at his belt. You stared for one heartbeat, just long enough for Jungkook's pulse to jump and his breath to catch, before you lifted your gaze again, for letting me kiss you. Your cheek warmed, your lips curving as a memory flashed in your mind. You bit your lip, trying to hold back a smile, but it slipped through anyway. And Jungkook, he had no idea what to do with the sudden heat in his chest. He didn't know what was happening anymore. Why your words shook him like this. Why the look in your eyes made everything inside him twist. But he understood one thing clearly. You were trying to distract yourself from your pain, and he didn't want to take that small smile away from you. So he smiled too, a small, gentle curl of his lips, and that only made you want to smile more. Jungkook, I just wish I could do more for you. Your grip on his sleeve tightened for a second, nervous but sweet. Yin, you can be my friend. He blinked slowly, tilting his head, watching you lift your coffee cup and sip it like you were pretending to be casual. But the slight tremble in your fingers gave you away. You looked adorable. You made me coffee. So, you're my friend now. A laugh escaped him, deep and warm, surprising even himself. He stared for a moment, admiring how different you were from the cold CEO image people described. You were nothing like the rumors, nothing like the stories that painted you as strict, emotionless, and distant. You were shy, lonely, sweet, and you looked at him like he mattered. He stepped to the counter, making his own coffee as he spoke. Jungkook, so, you don't have friends? You hesitated, your shoulders shrinking a little. Yin, I don't. It's hard to make friends. Jungkook, no it's not. You just need to smile more, and talk more. You didn't answer. So he continued, his tone gentler. What about school friends, or college? You looked up at him with a dead set smile, something that didn't reach your eyes. Yin, I was homeschooled, and then in college, I focused on joining the company. I barely knew anyone. He nodded, grabbing his cup, before stepping toward you until he stood right in front of you, close enough that your breath touched his collarbone when you exhaled. Jungkook, it's okay. You can find me here every day. I'll make you coffee. Your fingers scratched the cup nervously, your face turning slightly away to hide the small smile forming there. Yin, so, you'll be my friend. His answer came immediately, without hesitation, without thinking twice. Jungkook, of course. He smiled, really smiled, and something in his chest warmed at the sight of your reaction, because you smiled too. And if he could be the reason behind even one of your smiles, he already felt like he did something important. It had already been a little over a week since you and Jungkook started acting like friends. At least that was the title he was desperately trying to hold on to. But you were acting nothing like a friend. Everyone in the office could see it. Every lingering look, every soft smile, every time you stood a little too close when talking to him, close enough that he could feel your perfume brushing against his skin. Whenever he entered a room, your eyes always found him first. Whenever he spoke, you listened like you didn't hear anyone else. Whenever you laughed, your body leaned toward him, not by accident but naturally, easily, like he was the only one who made you feel comfortable. Your fiancé, Nick, had been out of town for days, and with him gone, you stopped holding yourself back. You stared at Jungkook's lips longer than you should have. You touched his chest and biceps like you were testing how firm he was, and he froze every time, helplessly letting you linger because you made it impossible for him to pull away. You flirted boldly, playfully, almost innocently, unaware that Jungkook was trying to keep himself sane. He was trying to stay in boundaries. But how could he when you weren't even pretending to have any? The building wasn't blind. Rumors started spreading first like whispers, Then like poison, he overheard female employees talking about you, saying you were shameless, saying you were playing with two men, saying you didn't deserve your position. The words stuck into him like needles, each one sharper than the last. It punched the air out of his lungs. He didn't care what they thought about him, but hearing them speak like that about you, about the soft, lonely girl who came to him every day for a smile and a warm cup of coffee, it made something inside him break. He knew those rumors weren't true. You weren't shameless. You were hurting. You were looking for company, for comfort, for someone to breathe near. But no one saw that. They only saw the surface and blamed you for everything. He wanted to tell you. He wanted to warn you. But how could he? How could he look at you and say, "They're talking about you because of me"? It would hurt you more. And hurting you was the last thing on earth he wanted to do. The office was nearly empty by the time evening turned into night. Only a few employees remained, their silhouettes moving quietly around the spacious floor. Jungkook sat at his desk long after everyone had left, shoulders tense, eyes fixed on the city lights outside the glass window. He replayed every rumor in his head, every insult people threw at your name. His hands were shaking slightly as he clicked through work he couldn't focus on. Then suddenly your voice cut through it, soft, warm, sweet, as if you had walked right into his chest. "Yin. Hey, Jungkook. I brought coffee for you." Your footsteps were light as you came to his desk. You placed the cup right in front of him, and your fingers slid over his hand on the mouse, slow and gentle, before curling around the cup as if helping him hold it. Your nails brushed his knuckles, and he felt electricity shoot up his arm. "Yin, I made it extra strong. You'll like it." He swallowed hard, forcing a smile even, though his heart felt heavy, every part of him screaming with worry for you. "Jungkook, thank you." You leaned against the side of his desk, watching his face closely. "Yin, it's okay. And don't work more. It's already past your work time. You can finish this tomorrow." He blinked once, shaking his head. "Jungkook, tomorrow is the deadline." "Yin. Yin, it's okay. I'll extend it." He let out a breath, not relief, not comfort, but frustration. Again, you were giving him special treatment without even realizing it, making everything worse for yourself. He stood up suddenly, pushing the chair back. Your eyes widened at the sudden movement. "Yin, you don't look happy today. What happened?" You reached for him, your hand rising toward his bicep out of instinct. But before your fingers could touch him, he gently caught your shoulders instead and guided you down into his chair. You sat there, confused, staring up at him, his hands warm on your shoulders as he leaned closer. Your voice softened. "Yin, what happened?" He didn't let you finish. "Jungkook, listen to me, Yin. This is not right." Your brows furrowed, your lips parting in confusion. "Yin, why? You didn't want this flavor? I can bring another one." He closed his eyes for a second, his jaw tightening. "God, you really had no idea? You were worried about coffee when the entire office was dragging your name through the mud." Jungkook let out a long breath, the kind that carried everything he had been holding inside for days. Then he slowly lowered himself onto the floor in front of you, knees touching the cold tiles. His hands reached for yours gently, his fingers slipping between yours like he had been wanting to do this for a long time. When he looked up, his eyes held worry, guilt, and something painfully soft. "Jungkook, Yin, you know exactly what I'm talking about," he said quietly, his thumbs brushing your knuckles. "You're about to get married, and you can't act like this with another man. You don't treat me like a friend, do you?" Your stomach tightened, your gaze fell to your lap, you could feel your heartbeat in your ears. "Were you really that obvious?" "Yin, and no," you whispered. I only consider you a friend, nothing more." The moment the words left your lips, you hated them. He knew you were lying. You knew you were lying. It sat heavy between you, Yin, and besides, you added quickly, voice breaking, "I don't even love my fiancé. Jungkook, that's the problem, Yin." His voice softened but became firmer. "At the same time, I know you don't love him, but the people around you don't know that. They see you with me. They say things about you, bad things." "Jungkook, I don't care what anyone says about me." He squeezed your hands tighter. "But I care about you. Think about your future. Think about the day you get married. Would you survive something like that? Would you really sacrifice your happiness forever?" Your throat tightened so hard you couldn't breathe for a moment. Hearing him say it, hearing him say the truth you kept running from, hit you like a train. Your fingers curled around his as if he was the only steady thing left in your world. "Yin, Jungkook," you whispered shakily, "should we run away? I have a lot of money. We can live somewhere far. live a good life together. His eyes softened instantly. He tilted his head slightly, studying your face, the exhaustion, the fear, the desperation. He knew you were suffocating in that house, suffocating under expectations you never chose. He never wanted you to live like that, never wanted you caged. You swallowed hard, lifting your shaking hands and bringing them to his jaw. Your fingertips brushed his cheek right under his eye, like you needed to be sure he was real. Yin, I want to be with you, you murmured. I love being with you. Please don't leave me, don't pull away. Jungkook leaned into your touch as if your hand was the only warmth he wanted. He held your wrist gently and pressed a soft kiss onto your palm. Jungkook, Yin, he whispered, have you ever talked to your dad about not wanting this marriage? Your head shook before the sentence finished. Yin, I tried, but I couldn't. I was too scared. Jungkook, do you want me to talk to him? Yin, he won't listen, you said, voice small. Jungkook's expression changed, calm, sure, almost dangerous in how certain he looked. Jungkook, then we'll run away. You blinked. He said it so casually, like it wasn't the biggest decision of your life, like it wasn't something that could destroy both of you. Your eyes widened, a sudden bright smile breaking through all your fear. For a moment, hope rushed through you so fast it made your chest ache. The thought of escaping, the thought of loving him openly, of waking up every day without being trapped. But then tears spilled from your eyes before you even realized. Yin, will we really? You whispered, voice trembling. He nodded without hesitation. He didn't care about the consequences anymore. He didn't care about reputation, about the rumors, about the chaos that would follow. He just cared about you. Not breaking, not suffering, not being trapped in a life that wasn't yours. You threw your arms around his neck, hugging him so tightly he stumbled back a little. Yin, I'm so excited. You breathed against his shoulder. You practically climbed onto him, your whole body leaning into his. He laughed softly in surprise, falling back onto the floor as he wrapped his arms around your waist to keep you steady. Jungkook, for running away? Jungkook asked, brushing your hair away from your cheek. You nodded fast, burying your face in his neck. You held him so tight he could barely breathe, but he didn't stop you. Yin, I just want to stay with you, you whispered, but I'm scared. Running away is scary. I'll try to talk to my dad first, but if he doesn't listen, we'll have to go far, very far. No one will let me go otherwise. He stroked your back slowly, calming every tremble in your body. Jungkook, everything will be okay, he murmured. I won't let you suffer anymore. You're my responsibility now. I'll protect you. I'll give you a life where you can breathe. Your breath hitched. No one had ever said something like that to you. Not even once, and that was exactly why your heart was falling for him so fast, so painfully, so deeply. It had been 2 long days since you and Jungkook decided to run away together. 2 days of fear, excitement, sleepless nights, and a heart that didn't know whether to beat fast from hope or from panic. And tonight was the night. Your father had thrown a casual party at the mansion, a chance to try, one last time, before choosing escape. But Jungkook didn't know you were planning to face your father today. You avoided him since morning because you knew the moment you looked into his eyes, you would crumble. You wanted to be bold, brave, steady. You wanted to fight for your love without crying like a scared child. You wanted to change your fate with your own hands. Nick was back too. He had just returned from his business trip, walking around the party like a ghost with anger in his eyes. Something about him felt wrong, colder, harsher, almost unstable. It's today or never. You would try telling this to Nick first. Maybe he'll listen. Maybe he won't be as cruel as you think. You stepped onto the balcony where he was, talking on the phone, pacing with clenched fists. You took a deep breath and moved forward, your heels clicking loudly. Nick immediately turned, recognizing your sound. Nick, I'll talk to you later. He cut the call instantly. His eyes dragged over you slowly, dark and irritated. Yin, I want to talk to you. Nick, I want to talk to you too, sweetheart. His smile wasn't real. It was sharp, almost angry. But go ahead first. He leaned against the railing, arms crossed like he was waiting for a joke. You swallowed hard. Yin, I'm going to come straight to the point. I don't want this engagement. I never wanted it from the start. And His sudden laugh cut through your words like a blade, a loud mocking laugh. He tilted his head like he heard the funniest thing. Nick, oh, is this because of him? Jungkook? The guy you've been clinging to lately? The rumors? You said nothing. You didn't even flinch. You kept your voice steady. Yin, I want you to talk to Dad about calling the engagement off. His smile disappeared instantly. He stepped forward, one cruel step, then another. Before you could react, he grabbed your wrist and twisted it behind your back, jerking you into his chest. Yin, let go. Nick's face came dangerously close. Nick, did you forget how your dad humiliated you when you tried to leave your position? How he insulted you? Do you want that again? His grip tightened painfully. Should I tell him you're having an affair while being engaged? Yin, do whatever you want. Just leave me. His eyes widened. The alcohol in his breath hit your skin. You had just pushed the wrong button. Nick, you're going to be my wife, Yin. You understand? My wife. And before you even process the words, his mouth crashed onto the side of your neck. His lips were harsh, disgusting, painful, nothing like affection, more like punishment. You gasped, your body going cold. Yin, what is wrong with you? Let go. You pushed, hit, slapped, anything. But he was drunk and furious and stronger. His hands started sliding inside your dress. Yin, stop. Let me go. You screamed so loud the music outside couldn't hide it. Jungkook, your voice cracked, breaking into a cry. And then, in no moment, the balcony door burst open. Not just Jungkook, Ava, Clark, several employees, everyone who heard your scream. But Jungkook didn't need a second to understand what he was seeing. The moment his eyes registered your trembling hands trying to push Nick away, something inside him snapped so violently it almost echoed through his veins. His face drained white before flooding red with raw, uncontrollable rage, and in the space of a single heartbeat he lunged forward, grabbing Nick by the collar and ripping him off you so brutally that your body stumbled forward from the sudden release. The next second Nick was airborne, his entire body crashing across the balcony and slamming into the wine table with a violent shatter, glass exploding everywhere as bottles burst. Clark rushed forward, yelling, Miss Yin, are you okay? While Ava pointed at Nick, voice shaking with fury as she cried, oh my god, this is harassment, I'm calling the police. Everyone saw it. Everyone saw exactly what Nick had been doing, every disgusting moment of it, leaving no space for excuses or misunderstandings. But your mind was no longer in that room. Your breathing grew sharp and uneven, your fingers clawing desperately at your neck as if trying to erase the burning imprint of his touch, your whole body shaking in a way that didn't look conscious. Fear swallowed you whole, the same paralyzing fear from the first day. Jungkook saved you, and before anyone could reach you, you turned and ran, almost collapsing over your own feet, tears blurring your vision, hair wild from fighting Nick's grip. Ava screamed your name, begging you to stop, but you didn't hear her. You didn't hear anything except the pounding in your ears. Ava, Yin, stop. Jungkook heard it, heard Ava shout, then realized you were gone, his stomach dropping as he turned to find only empty space where you had been. His knuckles were smeared with Nick's blood, his breathing ragged with panic, and Clark grabbed him, pushing him forward with urgent force. Go after her, Jungkook, he shouted. Everyone around could see it. You didn't treat Jungkook like just another employee, and Clark knew it better than anyone. You were shaken, fragile, and anyone could tell you needed someone by your side. But Jungkook was a storm of panic, his heart hammering, his mind spinning as he had thrown Nick aside. Every terrifying memory of the first time he saved you flashed in his head, and a cold dread ran through him at the thought of you hurting yourself again, doing something desperate in a panic. His blood ran icy as he sprinted after you, every step fueled by fear, by the desperate need to reach you before you could vanish. Jungkook burst out of the mansion, his legs pumping as fast as they could, but you were faster, so fast that no matter how loudly he screamed your name, you didn't even glance back. Then, his heart stopped. His soul felt like it had been ripped from his chest. The sight made the ground beneath him vanish. You were running straight onto the busy road, cars speeding past, engines roaring, lights blinding. You didn't hesitate for a second, not even a flicker of fear. Jungkook, Yin, stop, please stop, he yelled, his voice loud with panic. But you didn't slow. His chest tightened, lungs burning as he raced after you, every second stretching into an eternity. Then came the screeching tires, the blaring horn, and his stomach twisted. One car, speeding straight toward you. No, Yin.